Okay, everyone. Hi. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jocelyn Storenchak. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Can Do Incorporated. We are a economic development organization based out of the Hazleton area. Thank you so much for joining us today. On behalf of all of our partners bringing this initiative together today, we thank you. We're excited to teach you some things. We hope that you walk away with some great takeaways and really looking forward to the next 3 weeks of this programming. So, as you see, we're here for the May marketing series with Ryan Hertel of Social Loca. Ryan is an entrepreneur, business builder, and musician from Dallas, Pennsylvania. He specializes in social media branding. At 17 years old, Ryan founded an entertainment management company and marked the beginning of his entrepreneurial career. After emerging into the public's eyes as a DJ and music producer, Ryan switched gears and in 2017 launched his main business venture, Social Loca. Through heavy networking and finding himself one step ahead of his projects, Ryan has created a marketing agency that has the potential for nonstop growth and into every area of digital marketing, design, software, and more. Social Loca is a marketing agency that specializes in social media and content creation to help businesses grow. By streamlining the project management process for creative services, Social Loca services product subscribes and agency clients all over the globe. Social Loca offers social media content creation, design, photo, and video, web, PR, copywriting, branding, and much more. So, again, on behalf of the partners of Think, the Hazleton Innovation Collaborative, that would be Can Do, Can Be, the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, the Small Business Development Center, Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and the Hazleton Launchbox. We would love to welcome Ryan today. And if you just bear with me, I'm going to turn on his mic and video and we will get started.
Oh, here we go.
Ryan, I think you have to enable your video.
No worries. It said, "Oh, I am unable to start my video." One
Hang
second,
on.
guys. Technical difficulties here on my end.
There we
There we
go.
go. Now I'm a person. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon, and thanks for popping in. Jocelyn, thanks so much for the intro. Do you have anything more to say, or am I good to get going?
No, you're good to get started. Thank you.
Well, I know I appreciate the intro. That was awesome. Overall, everyone, I am here today to start this May marketing series, and we've got a lot of things over the next 3 weeks that I want to talk about. But today's session is going to primarily center around how to build a website that's better for your customers. And the reason I said that is it's not all just about making the best website in the world. It's about making the right website for you and your business and your customers. And I know we've got a lot of participants on here from all walks of life, all different industries. So I'm going to direct this presentation today primarily at just the general ideas of what you should all consider when you're building your website. I'm going to make this very, very generalized for the most part because it's important that I can relate to all of you. And everyone's going to be at a different place depending on where their business is and what they're trying to do. So enough of my face and me presenting. Let's get to Inkaloo, the website builder that we use, and let's dive into some of the key features as to what you can do when you're reworking your current website or building a new one to be online, especially in the current state of things. So let me share my screen. We're going to flip this around. I'm going to be flipping over to, and just to confirm that this works, you guys should be looking at the Social Loca website, but it's going to look a little funky. We're on the back end. So we are on the back end of my Social Loca website, which is my marketing agency. I'm going to show you this real quick. This is the front end right here. And then from the back end, we can edit things in the website builder. So this is going to be what I use today to demo some of these website techniques. But I also want to say that if any of you already have existing websites or are building a website with a different builder than what I'm using, that's okay. This is still going to completely relate to you. We're not saying, use this and this is the only way to do it. The truth of the matter is that it's different for every business. And every business needs to use, different qualifications when it comes to the website technology or the software that they're, integrating, depending on what they are. And some of you here might just say, well, Ryan, I just need an informational website to say a couple of things. And others might be thinking, hey, I have merchandise. I need to sell this and ship it all over the country. So everyone's going to be at a different place. I'm going to be very aware of that and keep things general. So let's just get started with some of the main points. And the biggest thing that I always like to start off when I'm talking to customers, clients, whoever, is why do you need a website? And that's really the biggest question that you should ask yourself when you're saying, well, I need to buy this, or I need to make this, or I need to have it created. Whatever way you look at it, investing your time into your online presence and a website in this case, it's definitely an investment, whether it's, monetarily or just your time, your employees' time, your friends' time. So you've got to make sure that you're going about it in a really cost-effective way and a time-effective way. So one of the biggest things that has come out over the last, I'd say maybe 10 years, the last decade or so, are website builders. Some of you might be familiar with these. Other website builders you could use might be Squarespace, Wix. GoDaddy has their own website builder. Today, I'm working with our own, which is called Inkaloo. Inkaloo is its own drag and drop website builder. And just to explain what website builders are, is they allow people who don't totally understand how to build a custom coded website, and they allow just people who can't do that to design their own website. It almost sounds funny, but it's the truth. It just makes building these websites so much easier for people who don't have the coding experience or the know-how. You can get in and start with themes. You drag and drop pictures in. You can set up your own e-commerce section. So these website builders make things much easier, and it's really, evens the playing field for businesses when it comes to having an online presence. And I think that's so important, especially right now with COVID-19 going around. It is so important that every business has some type of way to connect with their audience and their customers online, whether that's a website or social media. We'll get more into that next week. But today, just assuming that you want to have some presence online where your customers and your fans can reach you, having a website is one of the top and easiest ways once you get it set up. So back to what we were talking about, back to this website builder. The goal is to show you, not just the builder, but the different things that you can do when creating your website and different focuses to keep in mind. So once you've chosen your builder and you're ready to build your website and you've recognized your need and hey, I'm going to build this website to be online for my customers so they can reach out to me, or I'm going to build this website to be online for my e-commerce store because I need to sell merchandise. Figure out your reason and do your research a little bit before getting into building your website, and take your time with that. I'll be honest. I've had experiences where we've built websites for people and we used the wrong technology, or something didn't work, or something went wrong, and it's very normal. So do your research first. Try to understand it as best you can because there's a lot of information out there, and you can educate yourself to better know what's best for your business when you're talking to your web developer or whoever is helping you build this. So once you recognize the need, that's going to be how you build. So what I want to talk about now is call to action. Once you have your website started and you're thinking about what am I going to put on this thing, it's so important that you know what you want your customers to see first. So it almost sounds a little, a little obvious, but the truth is that many people forget that, when people come to your website, what's the first thing they want to see? A lot of people might not even scroll down. They might not even keep scrolling. There's a good chance. And statistics show that it's so important what's on the front page of your website just to attract people's attention, that this is the main moneymaker. So you've always got to think of, however you're building it, what is going to be the first thing that I want my customers and new people who are visiting my site for the first time to see. And for me right now, the biggest call to action was to register for a May marketing series, because I feel that this is going to be a great opportunity to get a lot more people to see what's going on with Socialoka and to educate a lot of people who could, use some guidance right now in this really pivotal time for the entire economy. So this is my call to action. And the way that I set this up was I set this up to link to a separate page where people can sign up for these events and they can sign up for all the sessions. So this is what some people did for today, was just click around and boom, they can sign up for the session. Now, the reason I'm explaining this is it's easy. Yes, we're just linking, some pictures, some links, whatever. But the point is for all of your operating businesses, you guys have customers and you have people who, if you say, I have a website, they're going to check it out. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. I've seen it with every website that we've got, across Inkaloo and across our clients. There's just tons of people out there, going online and reaching out to hair salons, even saying, when are you going to be open? Can I pick up things? So even businesses that are closed, you can benefit from having this online billboard to communicate with your customers. So think about that when you're setting it up. Is just, what's the main thing we want these people to see? And for me, it was to get them to register for the May marketing series. And keep that in mind as you're building, first thing first. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. Think about what you want to do, whether it's you want them to see your food menu or take advantage of a shopping discount or understand where your location is. Think about that when you're drafting your homepage, your cover header, and your call to action right here. So once they keep scrolling down through the website, and all websites again are different. Maybe you have different pages, maybe it flips through, maybe it scrolls, just all on the same page like ours does. But the next thing you want to do is you want, again, in the order of importance, keep drilling whoever is viewing your website with what matters to your business. So right after our initial call to action, we have plugged here our Socialoka products and services. And this goes for everybody's business. It's so important that everybody is, you've got to get out there what you need to your customers to stay in business. So if that's your second focus, it makes total sense. And again, this is going to vary for everyone. But as people are using your website, right after they see what you first want to tell them, make sure you start talking about your core product. Maybe you want to get into the about info. It really depends, again, on what you decide is best for the flow of the website. But there are so many things to consider just with how are we going to structure this all out. So I'm going to list a couple of the main points that we go over with customers and clients when we talk about, building a website for the first time or even just a rework. I'm going to get into those, but real quick, let me check the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions or hand raising. Jocelyn, if you have anything on that, feel free to let me know too. Just want to make sure. Oh,
Brian,
Kathy,
go ahead. I was just going to say, it looks like everybody's okay.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you answering that. Guys, I just put the link in the chat. If you'd like to see the builder that I'm demoing this in, go ahead, and I just put the link in the chat. You can check that out. That'll help you understand it better. But it looks like we're good. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in. I'll keep this to the side and we'll check on it. So again, let's talk about just some of the main points, and this goes for everybody. What do your customers want to see on your website? I made a little list here. And first, we talked about the header, your call to action. After that, your second most important thing might be your about section, where you introduce yourself. Do you have services or products, and maybe have a little tag there to link them to your shop or to a phone number where they can call you. Highlighting your team. I have this on our site. Let me scroll down. This is something really popular we've started doing too, and every business can do this. Make it personal, make it fun for your customers and your viewers online to understand your business. Simply even just highlighting your team and having some fun here, being able to reach out is so important. And this is something that I recommend whether you're a home builder, a restaurant, a doctor's office, a chiropractor, anybody. You can really connect with your audience through showcasing the team and the livelihood behind your business and brand. And I think that's so, so important. In addition to that, after the team, a contacts tab, a contact page is really what every business should have, probably, on a separate page or at the end of their website once they've presented the info. Typically, we would put this at the bottom, but we always have a contact section. And here is where you want to have listed your phone number, your email, where they can visit you, when they can visit you, and also a general send out form for reach outs. Some more technical advice that I want to share is a lot of you probably already have websites or your brands or businesses or whatever you have, and you probably already have this. And you're thinking, yeah, we have a contact form. We get it. Try to think about optimizing your contact form as a way that you can optimize your inquiries, or especially if you're a large business and you have a lot of people reaching out, you want to be able to have your customers, dictate what they need. You might have different sections of the company that deal with different aspects of the business. Maybe your quotes have to go also elsewhere. Maybe your sales team, they need the emails elsewhere. So remember, your website is a tool. You can use your contact tab as an awesome way to streamline customer requests, estimate requests, support tickets. There's such utilization there with the contact tab. And again, something very simple where we think, oh, you just log on, click their number. No, you can really set it up and collect that information from your customers and new leads especially. And a website is a great way to do that. So again, can't emphasize how important it is to, really plan out how your customers are going to contact you and make sure they have all this info. Make sure there's a map. Make sure your socials are connected. There's so many little things like that, no matter how you're building your website, the same standards really do apply. Excuse me. So again, once you've got a lot of this built, and again, there's way more to this website, but we're just really highlighting, the immediate things that you would think about for any general type of industry, needing a homepage. You're going to have your call to action, list your products and services. You want to talk about your company and about, list some more if you need to, and talk about your team. And of course, you can also have a final section or a last page where people can reach out and contact you directly. Those would be really the key elements of starting a website. Next, I want to get into some of the other things that you can have on your website to increase your engagement with customers and better rank as well. One of the biggest ways is a blog. So here, let me find this real quick. So let me go up here. 1 second as I bring this up. Sorry, technical difficulties, folks. All right, so we are linked now, and I hope this worked correctly. We are linked to the Socialoka news section. So this is how we publish content through our website. And this is something that everybody should be doing, whether you're a law firm, whether you are a hair salon, it really doesn't matter. One of the biggest ways to attract an audience is through Google. And we all know that. We're all trying to be on the top of Google search rankings. Any business, doesn't matter. Even if it's a business, a hair salon, people are driving to it. It's so important that you're charting on Google so that people are finding you and clicking the get directions, driving to your barbershop, whatever it may be. So, apply the situation to your business and you can understand the value as to why being a high ranking search on Google is so important. So if that's a goal for so many businesses, presumably because it's going to increase revenue and drive new customers, drive new sales, the catch is how do we get our business ranking on Google? And this is something that everybody struggles with, literally everybody. And even once you're ranking up there, people continue to struggle because they say, well, we need to stay there. How do we stay there? How do we get more viewers, coming to our website, buying our products, reaching out? So every business is asking the same questions. The one way consistently that can help any business rank better online would be blogging. Here, we blog through our Socialoka news channel, and we use this to deliver blogs, write-ups, reviews, sometimes news about what we're doing with our company. There's so many different applications as to what you could use a news section or a blog for. Again, you might be a business that doesn't necessarily need to have a blog and you might rather say it's a news section. And if that's the case, just like we did, that's great too, but utilize this as a way to put out content to your audience. And the reason this is so important for every business to do is because this content is ultimately what's going to help raise your Google ranking. And don't hold me to that. There are lots of ways to also raise your Google ranking, of course, but one of the easy shared methods would be blogging. The reason that is you're driving tons of content to your website and Google is saying, hey, this is really cool. Socialoka wrote this post about why you can't believe everything you read. And they're seeing this and they're saying, awesome, we're going to reward this website, a higher ranking because they're more relevant to their customers. They're providing information, they're providing value, they're posting frequently, they're sharing blogs. The more active your website is, the more traffic you are sure to get. And there are many ways to go about this, but again, just to stay generalized and tell everybody on this panel something that is beneficial for them to hear, it's that blog writing. It really, really is. And people underestimate how effective it can truly be. But we've seen tons of successes, and I have personally with, people just writing content, putting it out there. Same with social media. It's all tied to your overall brand. And when you're building a website, make sure you're including this. Make sure you've got a place where you can put out information and share it with your customers and fan base. Again, it's something simple, but if you can get into the habit of doing this, it will definitely have your website working for you so much better than if you weren't doing this at all. So blog writing or having a news section or press releases, I think that is one of the most important components of growth. We have a question, from Anthony. He asked, who is writing the blog articles? So Anthony, I have two friends. One of my friends, Noah, wrote this one right here. He's a friend of mine from Lehigh Valley. But for you guys, the biggest thing, and everybody should listen to this, this is an awesome question he asked. It's difficult to write blogs on things you're not educated on. And I think that's the catch. It's not easy to just go, oh, well, we're a law firm, let's write about this law. You can't just do it that easily. You have to plan your keywords. You have to plan what you're going to do. There should be some focus where the blog is related to your industry in some way. And Anthony, I don't know how that could pertain to your business, but you can think about that. And think, what blogs might you be writing to attract people who could then be interested in your industry or your service or your product. But when it comes to writing blogs too, you can, find people online, freelance, college students, anyone who is able to, take existing ideas online and rewrite them with their own twist. Again, there's so much information out there. So if you're going to repurpose something or write about a topic, it's just a matter of, reworking it into your own voice and your own language and using it on your website to drive more traffic. And hopefully people searching for those interesting articles will find your website. And that's one of the main ways to get your ranking up. It'll help for any industry, no doubt. Neil asked a question, for e-commerce websites that exist primarily to sell products, is it beneficial to have a section that links to industry news on external websites? Is having a blog only beneficial? So all right, here's the answer, Neil. So Neil's asking, if he were to have blogs on his website, would that be more beneficial if he was writing them than if he was just linking to other blogs written on other websites? And my immediate answer to that, Neil, is it would be more valuable to have the blogs handwritten for your own website. And the reason being is because if you link to, when you link to the other site's blogs, you're giving them that search traffic. So that's awesome that you're doing that. And we do that too. Constantly, if someone writes an article and it's really well done, or it's completely related to what we're doing, it's great to share that and say, hey, this is really interesting. This other agency wrote this about website development, but it's very true and we agree and you should listen to this. That's super beneficial to your clients. You're doing them a favor. But in your case, Neil, if you can, writing your own content, or writing a similar piece of content to what others have done and having that on your website, that allows customers to view your website, not others. And every second they're spending staring at your page as opposed to theirs is so much more important. Having those people not leave your site to go to others and having them stay here to keep reading, that's what's ultimately going to put your ranking up. Jocelyn, I know you want to chime in. I'll let you come in here and correct me on any of this blogging stuff if you need to.
No need to correct. No, you did a great job with that. Obviously, you're the expert. But this is a little bit of a plug for some initiatives that we're working on. And we can, anybody who has questions about this can reach out to me after. But this is a really good opportunity for businesses in our area to get involved with college students and interns. You kind of briefly touched on that. I know your organization uses interns.
Yes.
I hired some people as interns after their internship. You hired them on. But there's some really great state-based programs, the SLIP program that can help offset the cost of an intern to hire them. There's a ton of opportunities to bring on content writers as students, either in their third or fourth year, or even right after graduation. And we can easily plug you into that. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to me after this webinar.
No, that's an awesome point. And to add to that, Jocelyn, and this goes a little off the script, but I feel that the people watch, I feel like everyone watching can benefit from this. You're right, Jocelyn. It's so important that, every business really, internships really are important for especially these college students to find ideas of what they want to do. And we have new interns come on every semester. We just work with one or two, but I say to these students, I say, what do you want to be doing? And it's possible that, they start doing something, with the agency that they don't like doing 4 months later. So I believe that internships are a great way for people to figure out what they do and not like doing, as long as, they're fair and treated well. And I think that all of you could probably benefit from trying to find like a social media or a web intern. And I'm an agency owner saying that, but it's true. If you can benefit from having somebody help you in your beginning stages of launching a website, these website builders are set up so that lots of people, can figure them out easily. And I have a lot of friends, who use their own website builder to build their own websites, and they do a great job. I think that that's really valuable, and something everyone should think about is, if this is a totally new game to you, if blogging and your website and all of this is still new and unknown, try to see if there is an opportunity for an intern or, a college student who's going for this in their career to come in and try to help sort some of that out. I think that's an awesome point to make, Jocelyn, and something that everyone here can benefit from. So great point. Tammy asks, I could only sign up for one session on our local email. Oh, did I sign up for them all? Do need to sign up again? Jocelyn's going to answer you, Tammy. Thanks for asking, though. I'll share a link here at the end as well to a page where all of the buttons are listed. I can definitely do that. So anyway, back to the script, just to keep going with what we were talking about. Bring this up real quick. One of the questions I asked was, can they find you on social? And somewhat related to the blogging, we talked about how, we want to have that great content there for the blogs, and we want to keep them on the website. It's actually the opposite with social, which is funny. But what we want to do is make sure that with your website, you're linking your audience to every social platform that you have for the most part. Now, social media is something that we need to talk about next week, but I want to tell you all who are thinking, well, we don't have this or we don't have that. That's okay. You don't need everything. And I promise you, you don't need everything. And we are a social media first company, but I'm telling you that it's just not necessary. It is important to have a presence, but what's more important than having a mediocre presence is having a strong presence on fewer platforms. So when it comes to your social media, you can link them all. For us, I mean, we're an agency, we need to, but maybe you're primarily just on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Maybe you don't need Twitter or YouTube. Maybe you just don't. Maybe it's not practical for your business. I can think of tons of businesses that a YouTube or a Twitter might not be the most practical for. Would it be great if they could utilize them? Yes, but not everybody has that time. So let go of the fact that you need to be everywhere and start trying to just grasp onto the idea that you just want one or two platforms to be amazing, or even just one. Just try to make sure that even one platform is where your audience can find you, and stay in touch and stay engaged. So not to sidetrack too much to social media, but remember your website is linking people to your social platforms, and it's so important that you have that available. And again, a lot of you have probably seen this before, little things, you just put the icons at the bottom, maybe you put it here. Other websites might have floating icons somewhere that you can click on and click the F for Facebook and the bird for Twitter. So get creative with your ideas when you're building, but make sure that you're allowing your audience different ways to relate to your content and stay in touch. So important. Don't make them have to go and Google search it every time. You want to make sure that they're able to find you and get to where they need to be when needed. Moving on from that, the design. The design of a website is something that's always up for debate, and it's tough. And I'm sure, you can critique everything and continue to change it. But the rule of thumb that we use, and a lot of designers that I've met have used, is just deciding what's best for your business. Again, Socialoka is a super colorful, vibrant site. We're here to showcase lots of different services. We have to sound creative. We have to sound fun. That's the vibe. That's how the business is. But for other businesses, it's not that. It's going to be very black and white, or it's going to be very serious or very professional. Let's show a quick example real quick of a site that I actually built with Inkaloo. One sec, I'm going to bring this up. This was a website that we built with Inkaloo for Carrie Ann Meehan, New York. Now, Carrie Ann is a dress designer. So very, very different than what we would have done for something like Socialoka. I mean, it's just night and day. And again, and this is why I want to show this, because it's not about that one site is better than the other. It's about, is this site good for the clients that are viewing it? Is this as elegant? Does this need to be elegant, or does it need to be vibrant and exciting and possibly too much at times? And the answer is no. It needs to be simple and straightforward. It needs to be beautiful. It needs to be elegant because you're selling wedding dresses. I mean, come on. And that's the thing is, not every business is the same. Not every website needs to be the same. Not every feature is necessary. So again, when you're going through and thinking about what's best for you, design is different every time. Don't let people influence you into thinking that their way is always the best. Think about your business and what's going to sell your customers. They're the ones who really matter, not everybody else. So again, this is just a sample site. Carrie Ann built a lot of this herself, actually, which is awesome. And she added, just all her own little pictures in, and it demonstrates her, but you can see it's mostly black and white. The fonts are simple, lots of written, content here. It's a really solid site. It's great. It's adorable. It fits what she needs. It shows off what she has in her collections. And I think that this is what her business needed to be able to utilize an online presence, showcasing what she does, showing her personality, showing off the different types of dresses. And again, completely random example off the top of my head, but every business is going to have different needs for what they should have on their website. So think about that. You might not need a portfolio. You might not need a gallery, but you may have a lot of video content and you might think, hey, this would look really cool if we did different headers showing off, equipment of our machinery, of our team in action, of our students in action. So again, it's hard to relate to everybody, but trying to ignite some ideas because everybody has different business aspects they want to highlight. So definitely don't take anything too verbatim. Stay creative and just stay yourself. That's really all that matters. So beyond just the design, which we just looked at a design here, which had very limited colors, let's now talk about choosing color and why that's so important to your design. Real quick, let's take a question from Dawn. Dawn says, Ryan, thanks for the great energy. Oh, Dawn, of course. What platform do you use to track website traffic and activity? It's a great question, Dawn. It's about 2:30 now. I want to talk about GoDaddy and I want to talk about Google Analytics. So in 5 minutes, I'm going to switch to GoDaddy and Google Analytics, and we're going to take the last 10 minutes. We're going to go over that, how they can track data, and how to buy a domain. Before that, and thanks so much. It's an awesome question. Before that, the last thing I want to show while we're looking in the builder here, let me bring this over. Sorry guys, bringing up all these tabs, figured out where to go. Let's look at coloring. And again, everybody is so different. Within Inkulu, which is the website builder we use, we have a color palette. And I would suggest using something like this for any design project in general. And this is something, again, you don't need to be an expert designer to understand. A lot of you are probably familiar with the idea that certain brands would have different fonts, which would be, the words would look different than others, or they might have different brand colors. And as far as brand colors go, you might have two. They might be black and white. They might be blue and yellow. They might be, black and red. You don't need to have a million, but it's important that you follow some type of palette, some type of color palette when you're doing design. So for Social Loca, we have this lined up pretty easily. These colors match the toucan, and then we have the green for the rainforest vibe. But again, when you're doing yours, make sure you're just picking the colors that match your logo, maybe the pictures you use or your storefront, if that's what you go by. I've heard businesses go about it very, tons of different ways, and it just really matters on what's available to them and what makes sense. But when it comes to those colors, pick your colors and try to stick to them. It's an easy way to build a brand. And it's an easy way too, where you can say, well, I don't know what I need on my website, but I'm going to make sure that my fonts are white and yellow here, and maybe we can make these colors. It's just a matter of setting up your brand to kind of have almost a blueprint as to what you're going to do when it comes to the way that you design and present content. So again, when it comes to designing, you're going to think about, what's best for you. Maybe it's black and white and simple. Maybe it's loud and obnoxious and colorful. And it really is going to depend, but find your compromise in between and work off of that. There's no right or wrong. The only thing that you don't want to do is mislead your audience. Make sure that your brand is to the T as to where you want it to go. And that's how you're going to get great engagement and dedication. That's the goal. So Dawn threw in a great point is, I'm talking here about getting all these people to your site. How are you going to know who's there? That's a great question. And there's two answers for that. I want to go with the easier one first, just because this will pertain to a lot of people. And that's that a lot of website softwares, a lot of website builders will have a backend where you can view your analytics. So I'm going to show an example of that, and then we're going to show another example, which is called Google Analytics. So through a builder, again, it's going to be different each time, but you're going to want to look for some type of analytic area. So this shows hourly, as you can see, and I hope this is clear for everybody. I know Zoom, it might not so be, so if you've got to squint and look at, I apologize. But you can see here that we've got this graph, and this is showing hourly who's been coming onto the website. And this is good because this morning when we sent out this, was that last night? Yeah, this would be when we sent that out, that email blast. And you can see the peak here. Let's go to daily. Again, if you're not totally familiar with these analytics, that's okay. It's just the idea of showing you guys that, as you can see, there are usually ways on the backs of websites to see how many people are on. So on April 28th here, you can see that I had 61 page views and 15 were new visitors. So we had a lot of the same people viewing around on the website, which is great. April 29th, 1735. And you can see it ducks down here. It actually ducked down, went back up, going back up now that we're getting these sessions going. So this is a really easy and descriptive way for you guys to see what's going on with your websites. And again, it's not terribly complicated. The goal is that that everybody out there is trying to make this easier and easier for customers to better understand who's on their website, when, where, why, and how. And when I say the where, when, why, and how,
Everyone, I think we're having some technical difficulties. It looks like we're
when you want to run your specials, those are going to be when you want to make announcements. That kind of, just knowledge over your customer base and when they're active on your website is so valuable. Especially for businesses generating thousands of new people every day. We work with some of those, and they'll put up a video and 1,000 people immediately click on it. It's like, whoa, you've got to really watch and understand, when it's best to engage, because when you've got an audience like that, which a lot of businesses do, they're quick to respond, and you want to make sure that your communication is timely with them. 1 second, just making sure that this is working. Oh, are we having any video issues, or are we still good to go? Just want to make sure.
Ryan, we had a small glitch, so I don't know if everybody else got bumped out the way that I did for about 30 seconds, but I believe that I think we're all good now. Sorry about that, everyone.
That's okay. I'm going to move on just in time. We had an awesome question from Don for those who missed it. He just brought up looking at the analytics of a website. And I want to do an example now. Hold on, let me make sure.
This is probably a good time to say that this is all being recorded. So if anybody did freeze or glitch out, this will be shared on our YouTube page, and we can circulate that with all attendees.
Great. Thanks, Jocelyn. And is there, I should ask this as well, is there, is this working? Is it showing the Google search engine to everybody? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, we're seeing it on our end, Ryan.
Okay, great. I see I have some questions in the Q&A too, which I need to get to from Jordan and Will. I'm going to get to those as soon as I'm done showing Google Analytics and GoDaddy. That'll be in just 5 minutes, and I'll answer those guys. Let me show this Google. All right, I think we have everybody in here again. Bringing this up, Don asked a great question, and he talks about how's the best way to follow analytics. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's a little advanced, but all of you should be familiar with this name, Google Analytics. You should all know what Google Analytics are. These are very accurate, very powerful analytic tools from Google that will show you how your site is doing. It's going to show your users, your sessions, your bounce rate, everything. So Google Analytics can be installed on any website. They can even be put through the builders, and they're going to show you much more valuable data. When it comes to e-commerce businesses, that value is even higher, because as you can see here, I don't have page value associated with our pages here because no one is directly buying products through the Social Local website right now. So the difference is for some service industries, you're not going to see that because you're doing your service or your exchange differently. But for businesses who are selling directly online, completely different. And you'll be able to use Google Analytics to see so much, your audience behavior, active listeners, active users at one time. There's a lot to sort through here. I don't want to get too into it. I do love this subject, and maybe we can highlight this Thursday in our question and answer more. So Dawn, great point of bringing this up. Again, Google Analytics, just to not spend too much time on it, but if anyone wants to look this up, it's very important to understanding your audience. And I would strongly recommend all the e-commerce businesses out there, talk to your web developers or whoever you're working with if you already have one, and make sure you say to them, hey, can I get my Google Analytic charts? Can I see these weekly? Can I see these every other day? That was another question, is how often do I look? And really, you want to be on top of this. I'd say have a weekly report going out on the regular. That's what we like to do. Just to get started. But, if you need this information daily, there's no shame in that. Be on top of it and understand your audience. For some of you, you're going to have active users all day. So it's good to see when those peaks are so you can better utilize your site for your business. So I hope that better explains the value as to how you're going to see this data and what you can do with it, for everybody. So the last part that I want to show, and then we'll get to some questions, is GoDaddy. Because in addition to building a website and making it beautiful, let's say you get this whole thing done, great, congratulations, looks awesome. What do you do to get people there? And that's the last part where people go, well, I have this website, but what's the name? How do they get there? And GoDaddy is a domain purchasing platform that a lot of web developers and creative agencies use. A lot of you may have heard of this as well. GoDaddy is super popular. I started hearing about them years ago. They were in Super Bowl commercials, and I didn't understand why, but they were there, and they were, driving in incredible growth, and they became one of the best companies to work with as far as creative, agencies go that you can work with to buy domains. They have web solutions, lots. So a lot of you are probably familiar with GoDaddy. But one of the biggest uses is to buy website domains. And what that is that's the name of your business that is in the top search bar. So let's say Mike's Burger Shack is the name of your business. Let's see, Mike's Burger. You're going to type in this name, and we're on GoDaddy. We're going to see if Mike's Burger Shack has look at that. If we wanted to, Mike would be very happy right now because he would be able to get his domain for a pretty decent price. Let's see, $69.99. And he would be able to buy this from somebody. Oh, it looks like it's through a domain broker service. So this is a complicated answer here because this is somebody trying to buy a domain from someone else. Let's do something else. Let's do Mike's Burger Shack. Let's look at this. Oh, we can't click through. It's not letting me go through, but as you can see, just want to highlight this for everybody. This domain here is only $11.99. And I think that's important to show that, there's different value between the way that the title of the website shows up. So even just adding in this little hyphen brought down the price pretty significantly per year. Here we're at 70, here it's 12. So depending on the value of your business and how important the name is, that's really going to matter a lot. And some, just to show an example, some domains are probably very, very expensive. ABC is taken. There'd be no way to get it. See this abcyz.com, 3,003. Now, again, these are extreme examples, but I'm showing you these to get the idea of, go on and competitively search if you're still searching for a name for your business. Not a name for your business, excuse me, a name for your business website, though. There's so many different ways to do it. You can have different .co, .camera, .net. So use a source like GoDaddy just to generate some new ideas. Again, some of you might be super familiar with this. And if you are, that's great. You're ahead of the curve. But for those who aren't, again, take your time to go through, check out what else is available, view the different rates you could be paying. There's a lot to think about when it comes to having the right business domain. All right, so my alarm just went off. It is 2:45. We are pretty on track. I'm going to take some time answering questions. Jocelyn, if you need to chime in, please feel free. I'm going to bring up the Q&A, and we have 2 open questions. If anyone else wants to ask, now would be the time. I know there was a lot that we covered today. We're going to be doing that Q&A on Thursday, same time, different place to be registered. Anybody, again, can sign up for that, and you'll be able to ask questions that you need to. But let's start by answering some of these. I'm going to switch over. And again, the Q&A, if you guys go to the top, if you go to the Zoom and you press the fourth icon in, I believe that's where it should be for you. There's a Q&A button, and it has two little messenger icons. And if anyone wants to use that to ask a question, go ahead. Here, let's stop this share. All right, let's start. We have Jordan. Jordan said, Ryan, what are your thoughts on using WordPress for a website? Jordan, WordPress is a great building tool. I just will say this. I'll say one thing. WordPress is really professional, and you can do a lot with it. Many of the best websites in the world are built with WordPress because WordPress was such a leading platform for so long. WordPress was the ultimate blogging platform. It was the best platform to be installing plugins in my opinion, at least, in a lot of people's opinions, I'd say. And it was just user-friendly for the most part. But I'm gonna, and I might get some critique for this, but I'm gonna say I don't like WordPress anymore. I just don't. We built a site in WordPress 2 weeks ago, and the whole thing crashed because of a plugin. And we called the plugin company, and they were not working because of the pandemic. And we've waited weeks to hear back from them. And it actually took such a long time that the site never worked. We had to completely abandon it and rebuild the whole thing in Shopify. And that was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare because I thought, why are we able to use one of the best platforms in the world and not make this work? And it was an e-commerce solution. And finally, we did enough research and we thought, well, we don't necessarily want to just, assume Shopify can do this that well, but it did. And that's why I'm telling you is, a lot of people will disagree with me, but I'm seeing so much progress from these website builders. It's insane, Jordan. Even with Inkaloo, these blogs, the visibility, when people post this, they are pulled to Google like that. You can update your SEO information, which is your search engine optimization. Let's just say you can update information on your website and it loads very quickly into search rankings. And I think that that's just huge. I just think that that's one of the easiest, the easiest ways to do it is to use these builders, to use something like Shopify. To build these websites and get those quick, transaction exchangements with Google, pulling the information, updating the picture that you have as the thumbnail. There's a lot of perks to that. So I am ranting a little bit here because I did just have a personal experience, with not such a good experience with WordPress. But no, it is a good platform. If you're having issues with stability like I did, it might be worth giving a different platform a chance. Either way, again, there's not really a terribly wrong answer, but it depends on, what's working for your business. WordPress for us was not working. It crashed terribly with certain plugins, but we've seen other instances it works great. And, we have clients who have websites through it too. So that's my only thing. Not to go too off on that, but I think it's important that, you realize, or not that you realize, but, everyone understands, that, things can go wrong on different scales with different website builders. There's so many options. You got to be prepared for a lot.
And if I could add too, I'm not a web developer in any way, shape, or form, but I have built my fair share of, 1 or 2 page websites that, were for nonprofits that I was involved with or groups that I was involved with. And I've worked with several different build your own platforms like Inkaloo, but specifically Squarespace and Wix and all of those that everybody's heard of. I think it really depends. I think the important thing that I'm trying to get across here is what works for you, what works for Ryan, what works for me, what works for somebody else it's not going to translate to everybody. So you really want to find something that works best for you. You want to find the platform that you're most comfortable with. And honestly, that could change over time. The site that you've been using for years might do some type of an upgrade, might change something on it that you don't like how it works now, and you might have to transition to another web builder. So just play around and find the one that works best for you. That's my opinion.
No, that's perfect, Jocelyn. That was a good wrap up to that. Thank you. William, a lot of small businesses feel, hey, I don't have the time to launch and manage a website. How much time does it realistically take to keep a website correct? Will, that's a great question. Oh, it's so funny. You think it's funny, the questions and the concerns that come from small businesses, because I totally understand it. From a website, developer's point of view, it's, oh, well, of course you need a website. It's great. It's going to help your business. Of course it's easy to say that. Of course. The truth is, though, is if I hand you this beautiful, website and it can do everything under the sun, what's the point if you have to be on it every day just to make it useful? That's not what you signed up for. You might need to be out there building houses or being a chiropractor or doing your lawn care services. You can't sit there and message people back all day. So no, I think that's a realistic, and it's a tough question, but it's a good one to ask. That's one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to showcase the builder like I did. I wanted to showcase the website builder because people assume that having, these full-fledged websites is so much work. And it used to be, it really did. To be honest, I wasn't around when with all that custom coding, all that hardcore typing away for hours on your computer. That still happens, but it happens less because things have gotten simpler with these builder products, making it easier for small business owners to manage their website. So then the next part is time. And again, we talked about this earlier, but when it comes to time, you're either going to be paying someone, you're either going to be, having an employee, your wife, your husband, your friend, who knows, everyone's just trying to make it work. And I think that when it comes to that, if you don't have the time personally, Will, I think that what you could do is set up utilize your website in a way where it's set up more simply for someone else to go in and work with it. And Jocelyn had brought up even interns. These things can be set up so straightforward that college students can, go in, change out some pictures, adjust some prices, process some sales. Again, the whole goal is that these web companies are trying to make things easier and easier and easier. So knowing that that's where they're going to make sure that things go for online, online e-commerce or, informational websites or whatever, try to learn what you can and cover those basics. But I understand time is a constraint. And if it is, look towards, other people, but don't fear that they're not going to understand it. Again, college students, maybe a friend, maybe just someone younger who spends more time on their computer, if that's the case. These things are making it easier where you don't have to necessarily call a professional for every little thing. So I think that's one of the keys is, you want this set up where if you can't do that time, have a backup plan of someone who can. And if you don't want to spend a lot of time, then definitely don't set up a website that you have to spend tons of time on. Automate processes, have all the contact forms go to your email, etc. So that could get into a whole nother discussion, but I hope that answers it a little bit better. I do understand where you're coming from 100%. It's a tough question. Just there's multiple different ways to go about it. Anshul, I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly. In general, can you give us a breakdown on things one must put on the homepage? Yes. Let me give a more structured breakdown and let me type this into the chat because I have my pages. I have my notes here and I noted some things and really I could do a better job at noting this, but I'm going to copy and paste in just kind of the bullet points of what I wanted to talk about and I'll review these again. But when it came to what you needed on the homepage of your website, at the top, first and foremost, a header, call to action, whether that call to action is shop now, contact me, call me, request a quote, view our portfolio. Just trying to, again, throw out those buzzwords that you guys might go, yes, we could link our portfolio of what we did for our lawn services last year. Or yes, I want to be able to get calls. Or yes, I need emails to come here so I can start bidding on projects. Take it the way that you need to, but, start with that top. Here, let me switch over one last time. Going to switch over to the website so that we can even show you guys this and wrap it up after that. Share screen. Here, this should. I'm hoping everybody can share the screen. And just to answer Anshul's question, she brought up again, what were the main components that I said should be on your homepage? And just to give a more descriptive answer, I wanted to show you this one last time. So again, that header, you've got that header with a call to action. Here we were registering for May marketing and we went over that. After that header call to action, I talked about an about section where you could introduce yourself. Here we have, our what is Social Loco. We had some fun with this. And again, there's another call to action button where it links to our shop because this is where the people on your website start to learn more about you. After your about section, your services, your products, here we list these all. They can search, they can contact. And again, this will be, this is going to vary for all of you. You might show different pictures, you might show different text, so many different ways to go about it, but make sure you're listing those, as one of the main points on your website. After that, highlighting your team. We talked about this. I love this idea. And again, this could be, highlighting your team or putting some reviews or some pictures, a contact gallery, maybe a family photo if it's a family business. I know there's a lot of those in Northeastern Pennsylvania. It's a great selling point. Highlight your family. People love supporting their friends and family. It's a big thing. Highlight that. Think about how you can relate on a personal level. You're not just in business just to, collect your money and run. A lot of you are doing what you do because you love it. So highlight your team, highlight yourselves. Your customers and your friends are going to really appreciate that. And lastly, after that, I said a contact page or a contact form. And that was down here. We have one on Social Look, and this is where you're going to put your number, phone number, emails, address, a map, link them to your socials, have a reach out section, have a drop down if you can, where they can, request a quote or general inquiry. It is, it's to be flexible for your business and to, just make it easier for your customers, especially your regulars, if they need to reach out and submit a form to request, support service or whatever it may be. But those were primarily the main things. Again, it was like a header with a call to action, an about section, list your services and products, highlight your team or some info about yourself, and have a contact page. Those are just 5 starting things I focused on. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, wait, what about my photo gallery? What about the, yeah, there's a lot more. Trust me, there's a lot more. But just thinking about the basics of getting it started, if you're going to be up there and say, check out my website, just have some info and let people reach out to you. That is the bare bones. Then you can get into thinking about having your blog or having your news section or offering more support. So, and we did spend some time also, Anshul, talking about a blog or a news section. I should add that on there as a 6th thing, and there's more, but I'll put these all in the chat. I'll start working on that. I'll copy that over. I hope that answers your question a little better. But yeah, those were our main points. We are good with the Q&A for now. If anyone else has any questions, I am perfectly able to keep answering. And can take some of those from Jocelyn as well. I'll give you guys some time. I know these Zoom meetings are a very new thing for people, so we are having people type in and raise their hands and all that, so we'll give it a couple of minutes. Jocelyn, did you have anything you wanted to add as far as building websites and what everyone should be interested in getting started and what they should focus on?
Sure. So the SEO topic came up, and it's very easy to divert, onto a different path with SEO because it's so convoluted. There's so much to learn about analytics and exactly what you're doing and how to track it and how your website's performing. I just wanted to let the participants on know that that's something that we're looking at putting another session like this together after our May series. We haven't finalized those details, but it is something we're looking at doing. So if you're interested in SEO and you're kind of trying, you don't even know what SEO stands for, and your search engine optimization, and we'll have a session for that too. So we're really excited about these web series. Obviously, this is the first one that we're doing, so Ryan's a bit of our guinea pig, but it's something that can do and can be, and our partners at Think want to keep doing beyond the pandemic, but the COVID-19 gave us an excuse to start running them a little early. So. And then the other thing I wanted to just touch on before we run out of questions is Thursday's session, and Ryan can talk about this a little bit more, but Thursday's session is going to be like a really interactive session where Ryan's actually going to be in Inkkaloo and showing how he's dragging and dropping and creating a platform and being able to answer questions from you guys, like, why did you do that? Why did you use a button instead of a link? Or, whatever the question may be. So if you came onto this webinar today, really hoping for some, like, not just best practices of what should be on your website, but how do I build it? Thursday's session is really going to answer those questions. So I just wanted to touch on those couple of things before some people start logging off.
No, that's awesome, Jocelyn. Thank you. And I just posted I put those main components to the site that I kind of highlighted today, just the different sections. So hopefully that'll help some of you. And Jocelyn, you're right. We'll get more into the build on Thursday. There's so much we could cover with all of this there. And you even brought up the SEO thing, and someone asked, Don asked me about analytics. And I thought, wow, we could have split this up even more. So hopefully some of you will bring your questions on Thursday if you'd like to see more about that. But I hope this was a good overview for the most part, just on that. Again, I'm going to hang on for a bit just to see if there are any questions. But again, Jocelyn, you ultimately are in charge of this. If people are are heading out. We hope to see you Thursday, and thanks so much for checking in on the series. Anyone else, we are open for questions. You can drop something in the chat. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, it does look like people are starting to log off. So I think we could call it. We've been on for an hour exactly. So that's what we were trying to keep this under. We had a little extra time just in case there were some Q&As, but we did have questions throughout the session. So thank you everybody for joining us. We're really excited for Thursday's session in the next couple of weeks. If you have, like I said, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to, Ryan, myself, or the chamber. I'll make sure to include all of our contact information with all of the attendees' participant information when I send out some of our information.
If I could add just one last thing
Yeah.
before anyone goes, I dropped, thank you for those. I see some people are chatting. Thank you so much for watching. I dropped my email, and I was going to say, if anyone wants to reach out to me or Jocelyn and let us know what kind of ideas or subjects or, just what you'd like to see us do on this May marketing webinar series, any suggestions, I definitely know we'd be open to them. We're still figuring out what's best too. So any suggestions from small businesses would definitely be appreciated.
Great. Thank you so much for being on here, Ryan. Looking forward to the next few sessions with you. We'll see everybody on Thursday.
No worries. Thanks so much, Jocelyn. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.